Yo, what's going on guys? This is Kickback here with another Animal Jam video, and in today's video guys we are going to be having a discussion about Animal Jam's security. Now, over the last couple of days on Animal Jam, I'm sure most of you have noticed it's been quite the challenge to actually log into the game or even play without some kind of lag. Now, I will be actually discussing that in the video, probably in the later half of the video, but I'm pretty much going to be talking about all of the kind of mishaps with the security on Animal Jam, mainly Animal Jam Classic as a whole over the last couple months to a year, and how hackers are essentially getting away with this, and the kind of lack of action on Animal Jam's behalf when it comes to these kind of instances where hacking is occurring on their games. Now, to start us off here, we're going to rewind back to November when the infamous database breach happened on Animal Jam. Now, the kind of precedent that actually went around the community for a while was that the Animal Jam servers were just kind of hacked into or whatever, and the hackers got the database breach and then they leaked it. And I thought for myself for a while that was actually the way it happened. However, it actually happened differently. Now, this happened through a software called Stack, which WildWorks actually does use to presumably communicate with their employees. I'm not really too sure. However, on there was a key used for a server and the people that hacked into an account that had access to that key in the chat pretty much were able to then access the database, or partial amount of the database that was eventually leaked on a public hacking board. This is just one example of a mishap. Obviously it wasn't intentional and it was a pure accident. I'm assuming they just kind of forgot that they left that kind of key on a Stack chat. But when you're kind of dealing with a database for a kids game with millions of records that are containing sensitive information like username, passwords, ages, genders, and then billing information as well, it's kind of crazy to think that something like this is just sitting on a random chat, and that's kind of how the whole database breach actually occurred. And because of this database breach, obviously a ton of people got cracked into, like old accounts got cracked because people just decrypted the hashes and whatnot. But to combat this, presumably to combat this, Animal Jam broke their own parent dashboard, I'm presuming, or they actually just broke it accidentally and it just so happened to be around the same time people were cracking. Either way, the parent dashboard is broken. I made a video on this when it actually occurred the first time, and it hasn't been fixed since it actually happened. So it's been broken for around 6+ months now, and people are essentially not able to get into their accounts now because of this. People are getting totally locked out of their own accounts because they can't reset their passwords or they can't change their parent dashboard's email because Animal Jam's servers associated with the parent dashboard is broken. Now, an easy way for them to combat hacking, even if they did this intentionally, which I don't really know if they did or not, it's hard to say unless they actually confirmed if they did or not, but an easier way for them to combat something like this would have just been reset all the passwords for accounts, and I'm pretty sure they did that except for accounts that had unverified parent dashboards to them. However, if your account goes inactive for a long duration, I'm pretty sure it gets lifted out of a parent dashboard, or the parent email associated to it is actually released, meaning you have to re-verify the account onto the dashboard for whatever reason. And this is a large kind of presence with old accounts and inactive accounts that generally do have a lot of items of value nowadays. So this didn't really work out a whole lot when it actually came to people cracking these accounts. And not only that, they could have mass reset all the passwords for any kind of account, user account or parent dashboard account, and it probably would have been effective and probably would have saved a lot of people their accounts. But who knows, maybe it's not as easy as said. Maybe it's harder to actually do something like this than to actually say it. However, if you were affected by the breach and you still are for whatever reason, you just logged in and you noticed you were hacked, Animal Jam, I'm pretty sure, is still recovering people's items that were directly affected by the breach, so it's not too bad, but it's still kind of worrying that this was happening in the first place. Now, shifting on to what's been happening over the course of the last 2 days and really the last couple months on Animal Jam, and this has to do with bot ratings. Now, I've made a video on this twice actually, way back in December when it happened for the first time on a large scale, and then around last month when it happened again on a large scale. Pretty much these bots are flooding in Animal Jam Classic servers where it's pretty much impossible to go anywhere without these players just showing up randomly around the map with holdables and changing colors and spamming random messages, it just lags your game progressively very quickly, and obviously it's not going to help any player trying to play the game. And not only is it not going to help players play the game, it's gonna break the game. That's right, Alamo Jam servers went down because of this, because of these bots actually overwhelming the servers. Usually Alamo Jam servers are completely empty, and this is when there was actual bots attacking the servers. Now, there really isn't anything too harmful around these bots. Most of the accounts, over the last few days anyway, seem to be cracked accounts or just new accounts that are being used to raid the game, and there really isn't anything harmful to them. All they really do is just spawn around the map. However, I've gotten some reports that they are actually spamming buddy requests and jamacrams now if you do spawn into the same room as them, so you might want to, you know, disable your jamagrams and your buddy requests and game requests for the time being. But other than that, you won't lose your account for anything to do with these bots. However, the people in question for this obviously being Auth0 and Afraid, which I've talked about on the channel beforehand. And not only is this bot raid going on, you know, we also have to worry about these trade spams and these jag spams that I have made videos on before, that if you essentially get spammed with any of these and buddy requests as well, it's near impossible to try turn off your buddy requests if you get buddy spammed. Getting trade spammed is quite difficult, but you can actually manage to disable it by just taking the item off trade, and then jamagram, you can just lock your jamagrams, but buddy spams being the hardest one to deal with. And stuff like this is reoccurring on the game on a large scale, and I get that Alamo Jam Classic isn't being that updated anymore or whatever, but I would expect them to at least kind of handle this kind of thing so people can actually still play it. But one thing I do actually want to point out is, you know, a lot of people, you know, make the argument when people say Alamo Jam Classic is dying or whatever, that, oh, Alamo Jam Play Wild must have better security, gets more updates, but Alamo Jam Play Wild security is probably even more vulnerable because nobody attacks it. So I have been told by actual hackers that have hacked Alamo Jam Classic. Now, this video wasn't made to bash Alamo Jam. I don't want that to be the reason people are thinking why I'm making this video. I'm just saying this is what we should get as the community and the game. We should be able to actually play the game without having to worry about these kind of bot ratings lagging the game or even making the game unplayable, because I get that Alamo Jam is kind of neglecting Alamo Jam Classic in a sense, but neglecting it this much isn't going to lead to people continuously playing it. It's just gonna make their core players leave the game because they're not actually doing anything about these hackers running around the game pretty much freely without any consequences taken against them. I just think it should be the time that they maybe look at the kind of exploits people are using to do these kind of things, notice where the errors are, and, you know, kind of patch that up nicely. But, you know, again, maybe it's harder than said. And, you know, usually Alamo Jam does ignore this kind of thing. You know, the last couple times Alamo Jam got raided by bots, they ignored it. However, this time was different. They actually noticed it on their Instagram story. They put this out, so maybe they're actually gonna work on it for once and patch this up for once and for all, and maybe we won't have to actually deal with these bot ratings once again. Again, I'm not making this video to bash AJHQ or anything like that, but I've just noticed a lot of people are getting sick of this very fast. I'm getting sick of it very fast, and I think it should be in Alamo Jam's best taste to actually act on this now before it's too late. But yeah guys, that's pretty much gonna wrap up today's video here. Make sure to subscribe on future videos as well as videos just like this one. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy today's video, and let me know what you thought of it in the comment section below. I'm excited to see what your guys' opinions is on this whole subject, and I will catch you guys in the next one.